Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Let's begin this webinar. We will. Um, my name is Kashif, and with me is Haris. Haris has extended experience in running e-commerce businesses, running also providing wholesale products to a lot of e-commerce suppliers. Like he's the thing for e-commerce. And we are lucky that he actually agreed to actually help us with this. That being said, I will pass it on to Haris, and Haris, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Haris Iqbal, and Kashif has given me too generous of a introduction. I know e-commerce. I've been a part of e-commerce for the last 10 plus years, but alhamdulillah, and still a lot to learn. Still learning every day. So, um, very excited to be here. Being a part of the chamber is it's a great privilege, and I'm very honored that Kashif and Shafiq have asked me to speak on behalf of e-commerce. Um, a little bit of my experience. My business essentially is within wholesale, liquidation, and e-commerce. Mostly it's wholesale and liquidation, and e-commerce naturally is a part of it because when you're dealing with products and looking at products on a wholesale basis and all these other things, e-commerce has to be a part of your distribution strategy. Therefore, I've been a part of it. I've seen the ups and downs of it. I've been a part of a couple different strategies within e-commerce, such as wholesale reselling, as well as liquidation reselling as well. Um, that's just me in a nutshell.
All right. Haris, the first thing always, whenever we talk about e-commerce for somebody who's new, they always ask, "Hey, where do I find the things to sell? What do I sell?" Right? I've seen you answer this question multiple times. Can you give us a little bit of elaboration how people can find products to sell and what to sell?
Sure. How people can find products to sell. So that's a very loaded question because you really have to define what your business strategy is. Who are you as a seller? Are you a private label seller? Are you a wholesale reseller? Are you an eBay seller? Are you a Etsy seller? You really have to define what your business is and which way you want to go towards your business. A lot of people, when I talk to, they want to start a business, they'll talk about dude, I love football, so I want to sell footballs or sporting goods and things along those lines. And that's great. The first thing I ask them is, how do you plan on competing with Franklin, Wilson, all these other big brands, right? So it's not about what you sell, it depends on how you sell it. And at the end of the day, honestly, I may have a lot of hobbies and things that I enjoy doing, but that doesn't mean that that fits my business strategy to be able to sell those things. You can sell shoelaces, you can sell tampons, what and health and beauty products and anything along those lines. It really depends on your business strategy and what you have capability of um, reselling, right? So it's a very loaded question. There's products all over the place. If you want to look at private label strategies, you can source products out of China and sell those. And if you want to sell wholesale, you want to sell brands that are already established, you can reach out to brands, you can sell products from them. You can buy liquidation pallets, you can buy, mixed lots of goods that sort of come in and you have a price per product that's averaged out and you can resell those at a larger profit. It just really depends on who you are and what your capabilities are and what you have access to at the end of the day.
So how do you like, let's say we have a bunch of products and obviously you cannot sell everything, right? So how do you choose a product? Which product, like I know you were talking about this soap example, like how many go and search on Amazon and how much the soap is and all that. Can
Mhm.
you elaborate on it a little bit?
The soap example, a sister from the group wanted to sell handmade soaps and things along those lines. So I advised her to do her market research as to what her competition is doing as of right now. Trying to figure out, hey, if you know how to make hand soaps and things along those lines, you have to really figure out what it costs you to make those soaps and what it's going to cost you to advertise those soaps, to be able to sell those products. Selling products, there's a lot of myths surrounding it where um, there's a lot of these gurus and courses that are available. What they'll talk about is the basic, the pure basics of it, where they'll say something along the lines of, "Hey, you can sell this for 19.99, and this thing sells 30,000 units per month, and you can make X amount of money." Um, yes, those things do happen because those numbers are shown, but at the same time, what people don't talk about is the advertising cost that is associated with selling those products. Advertising costs can go anywhere from 70 to 80% of your entire um, selling price, and then you have to define, what your landed cost was, what it cost you to create those goods altogether. How to find the best selling products, really, it comes down to market research. There's tools out there such as Jungle Scout, Helium 10, and things along those lines. They basically give you the basic information, such as product X is going to sell 10,000 units per month, and you can source it through Alibaba or DHgate and other Chinese suppliers. So there's a lot of options out there. If you look at the biggest marketplace in the world, which is Amazon.com, you simply can go onto the categories they sell, and what they have is a top 100 best-selling items. That there's an entire page for that on Amazon that consumers can look at as well. So just to kind of give you an idea, toys and games could very well have 30 million different products listed under toys and games alone. So yes, you can look through all of that information, but really what you're going to sell, what you're going to want to sell is really depending on what you have access to and what you're capable of. In the grand scheme of things, it really comes down to money. Money makes more money. If you have money, you can put towards marketing ads, buying product, research and development, and then you can create your own entire toy line. You can become Hasbro for all of, if money is not an object. So I don't know if that sort of answered your question. I kind of went off on a tangent there.
So for everybody, Harris has done us a major favor. He has actually given us a PDF file of all the things that we are going to discuss. I'm going to share the link with people who are in the webinar at the end, and we will talk about that. If I'm starting, let's say if somebody like me wants to start e-commerce business, what do I do? Where do I start? Right? What's the first step that I should do?
So as far as e-commerce goes, there's different platforms. So you have to identify those platforms first. The major one is Amazon.com. Second largest platform is eBay. Then you have Etsy, you have Walmart.com, and then you have Shopify, Magento, and other where you can create your own store. Now, the benefit of Amazon.com is Amazon offers what's called FBA services. FBA stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. In a nutshell, what that really means is that you can buy products from wholesalers and ship it to Amazon's fulfillment centers, and they will handle all of the customer service, returns, shipping to customers, and things along those lines. Of course, there's a cost associated with that, but that makes things a lot easier where you're very much hands off. You still buy the product, you still own the inventory, that's where your investment comes in, and but Amazon handles most of that product for you. There's a different version of that. It's called FBM, which is fulfillment by merchant. You, me, everyone in this podcast, in this webinar, is a merchant essentially. And what that FBM means is that, let's say if you get an order, you pack it, you ship it at your own cost to the customer directly. If there's a customer service issue, you handle it. If there's a return, you yourself handle it. The cost associated with that is not as much as FBA, but it does add on to your list of duties and responsibilities as a seller. That is Amazon FBA for you, essentially, in a nutshell. The PDF talks a little bit more in detail about what it all entails. The biggest advantage of selling via FBA versus FBM is you get access to Prime members. So as a consumer, I'm a Prime member. I pay a yearly fee of I think it's $140 now. Um, but what it gives me is access to free shipping and next day air or whatever it is. Um, there's about 200 million Prime members. So as an FBA seller, if you have your product listed on Amazon, that essentially translates into what's called Prime. That's what a customer sees. In the PDF, it kind of gives an example of how it looks when you're on the page. So go ahead and take a look at that when you get a chance. Um, as an FBM seller, a Prime member can potentially buy directly from you, but it's very rare cases that they'll choose your business over a FBA seller because simply because they can deal directly with Amazon for their customer service, which is what they're known for. So if there's an issue with the product, they want to return it. They don't have to deal with the seller. Where a seller could just be like, "Yeah, I don't want to return it," or whatever the case is. Where Amazon won't necessarily ask you any questions. They'll refund you and send you a return. So that trust factor is a big thing when you're an FBA seller. Um, so when you get started, your question was so there's other platforms like eBay, Etsy, Walmart, and well, that's really about it for most part as far as major selling products. I would recommend anybody that's looking to start to get their feet wet. You have to have some sort of product to sell, whether it's cleaning out your basement and you want to see what you can get out of it. That's probably the best way to do it. Get your feet wet. You have rugs, you have chairs, you have coffee mugs, you have keychains, whatever it is that you want to sell, or a collectible item that's been in that's been laying around for a long time. You can list it on eBay for a competitive price, and there you are. You're reselling. You're becoming a seller little by little. A lot of people try to do that. They buy pallets where they buy miscellaneous goods for $1,000, for example, and they can get anywhere from 100 pacifiers in those pallets, or a vacuum cleaner, or a instant pot, or whatever have you. Overall, let's say if your dollar cost average for these pallets ends up being $5 a pallet, and then you have 300 units in there, you know that you can make some money. But let's say, for example, of those 500, there's 150 pacifiers that sell for $2. Then you're going to take a loss on those. So there's a little bit ups and downs, but at the same time, to get your feet wet, to really enter the reselling marketplace in the marketplaces, you have to start by having some sort of product. Selling is just operational. You can decide to do it on Amazon. You can do it on eBay. You can do it on Poshmark. You can do an OfferUp. All these other smaller platforms.
So you think OfferUp can also be part of your own whole overall strategy, like Facebook and stuff?
Um, not if you want to really truly scale your business. It's a hit or miss because I'll give you my example. We had some stuff in the warehouse that we're trying to get rid of, and we listed on Facebook. You get so many people sending you messages like, "Oh, hey, what's the condition of this? Send me a picture, or I'll come grab this," but nobody shows up. No, that's just been my experience personally. So I don't bother with it. But if you're really wanting to like truly sell, your best bet is going to be Amazon and eBay. If it's brand new product, definitely Amazon. If you can still sell brand new products on eBay as well, but your best bet is going to be Amazon versus eBay.
Okay. Is there a market for like how like what's the right way of saying it? Like doing an online market, but at the same time also have a retail shop?
Retail shop, you would go into the realm of Shopify, Magento, and all these other your own personal stores or WooCommerce and things like that. Those are all great because anybody can set that up, right? It's not that hard to set that up. It becomes about how are you driving traffic to your website. It becomes about customer acquisition acquisition at that time, where how much is it going to cost you to sign up a customer, bring them to your website, and there's a lot of advertising, Google advertising, Amazon advertising, and what is that thing called? Affiliate marketplaces where you have to pay influencers to to send people over to your website. So a lot of the advertising marketing comes into place when it comes to Shopify and your own store. It is possible. I've seen a lot of great businesses do it. It's just the initial startup is a lot challenging and very competitive, depending on what product you're selling.
If for all those who are on the chat, please join the chamber. Also follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. It is much appreciated. Moving on. Are there ways to speed up sales? So if I'm starting new, right, and I bought this, let's say I bought a pallet of cameras, right? Are there strategies that people can apply that will speed up sales?
Well, if you buy a palette of known brands, there's no concept of, oh, there is a concept of speeding up sales. You can advertise within these platforms. You can advertise within Amazon and eBay. You can have a budget for advertising within these platforms. Now, let's say, for example, these are all Canon cameras that we're talking about, right?
Okay.
Now, that is an established brand. You may have what's called a secondhand camera. So let's say you have 100 of them. They might be open box or whatever the case is, and you've gotten them for a really good deal, for example. You won't need to expedite sales because this is a known brand. People are already searching for this. So what you do is you compete on price. Let's say, for example, if one of the SKUs that you have sells for $200, but your dollar cost average per product is $15, for example, you can really cut the price in half, and you'll be the first one selling that product right out the gate. If your price is at $149.99, where you're making crazy profit margin, and you're selling in a very good speed.
So it's almost like what we tell our regular customers, right? So for afterburning, when customer comes, we say, okay, there are basically 5 accelerators. Your number one accelerator is your price, right? So if you take something that's for $10 and you sell it for $5, obviously you're going to sell more. Your reputation, obviously people will buy things from Kinder or whatever the famous Instagram person is these days, right? Whoever the famous influencer is compared to years, because there's the reputation that's associated with it. Familiarity, we always buy close to our family,
Yes.
people who we know them, right? And the functionality, right? So there's something that you only produce, right? So that's why people go to Google Workspace, because it's a unique product, right? Or we go and buy Adobe products, or because they're very unique, right? Or we go and buy Milky Way because it's very unique and it has a unique functionality.
Right.
And at the end, need, right? If I need something and there's nobody else who's supplying it, then that's what it is. So yeah, this is basically the same.
It's very much the same, exactly. Like people buy what they trust. People go after brands that they already know and love. Um, that's not necessarily to say that if you have a unique idea that's not going to sell, it is going to sell. It just requires a little bit of pre-work. So let's say if you go to China and you create your own kind of camera, you're going to need professional photography. You're going to need SEO driven content, headlines, a lot of banners and things along those lines. Packaging is what sells, right? It has to be visually appealing for customers to be able to buy something, and you're responsible for all of that. It's going to cost you a lot of marketing dollars to get your brand up in front of people, regardless of what platform you're on. But it does pay off at the end of the day. For most part, given that your marketing budget is sufficient, where your sales over time are more organic versus advertised sales.
So does it help if you get an influencer to say that your product is better than others or anything like that? I know influencers charge like arm and length to actually say things like that. Does it actually help in the e-commerce part?
Yes and no. It depends on how much following they have. If they are niche to that specific product, let's say if they're a food blogger and then they promote your camera, for example, the food bloggers, they're not the followers of the food bloggers aren't necessarily going to take the camera person seriously. So it's a hit or miss. It really depends. Um, I've seen people do a lot of like marketing for coffee mugs and everything else in between. But it does drive some traffic, but it's very minimal. Most of your marketing dollars should really be going to product development and making sure that your products are um, properly labeled and properly done to a point where it's physically appealing and helpful to the customer, and it's relatable to the competition, or if not, one step better than your competition.
So Babar Bhai has a very good question. Doesn't Amazon block your listing if your price is very competitive?
Does Amazon block your listing if your price is
So
very competitive?
let's say if there's a product that's supposed to be $7 and you start selling it for $2, Amazon will consider it spam and block you, right?
No, if you can fulfill the product, Amazon promotes the idea of selling products that are competitively priced. If you price gouge, yes, they would. Um, COVID, they did that where toilet paper and wipes and things like that were selling for $80 for a 12-pack wipe, something like that. Then they're going to block you potentially if you get caught. But Amazon actually promotes the idea of decreasing your price to be competitive with your product with your products. Now, Amazon is notoriously known for the fact that they're going to come in and they're going to compete directly with you. Now that's a bigger problem than Amazon coming in and saying, "Hey, lower your price," or "I'm going to cut you off," or "I'm going to delete your listing." Amazon does take customers off or sellers off of their platform for almost zero reason. It doesn't matter if you're brand new and you have all your hopes, dreams, blood, tears, sweat into this product that you're building. They don't care. And simultaneously, they don't care if you're selling $100 million a year. They're not going to care if you violate their policies. They will shut you down.
So the in the
Did I?
what do you prefer more if somebody has their own product, like if they build something of their own? So I know this a very nice lady, she sells it on Etsy and she sells candles, right? She makes it at home and she pretty much has a whole plant of making candles in her garage now. And
Nice.
I see her shipping all the time. Is that a better approach, or is it a better approach to just buy wholesale and then just send it to Amazon and let them, just basically compete on price?
So the difference within these two things is when you have your own brand, you are the master of your own domain. You control a lot of it. However, you're also in control of everything that's relating to marketing and advertising as well. Marketing dollars and the cost of advertising on any given platform is so significantly high that it almost never makes sense, right?
Right.
Liquidation business as well for that reason, because there's going to be 1 out of 10, or I'm sorry, not even one, sorry. There's going to be 1 out of 10 that actually goes and succeeds because they had enough marketing dollars in their budget to be able to make it happen. 9 out of 10 times, these brands, what they end up doing is they end up finding me and they're like, "Hey, we tried this XYZ product. It didn't work out. We're looking to liquidate." So that's part of our business where we come in and we end up buying these goods that these people have tried to make and tried to sell on pennies on the dollar because they just weren't able to keep up with the marketing budget. The wholesale aspect of it is I like it, and that's the realm that I've been a part of for 10 years. Is these products are already in the United States, so you're not dealing with Chinese suppliers or anything like that. B, you're not having to worry about the advertising and PPC and all these other aspects of it because these listings they already exist. You just sort of tag along with the same listing and sell under the same with everybody else. That's also a negative within that regards, is because let's say if it's I don't know if my camera's on, but let's say if this coffee mug is up for sale and you have to list it for
Your camera is actually on the other side, so you have to flip it.
Oh, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know.
I thought you were just shy, so I was like,
Oh,
okay.
all right. All right. So let's say, for example, this coffee mug, right? It sells for 19.99 and it's a brand called Contigo.
Right.
Now, they may have 10,000 pieces, for example, and you want to buy 1,000 pieces of it. They still have 9,000 pieces left over that somebody with bigger pockets can come in and take all 9,000 pieces.
Right.
Now, you have your enough product, you have $1,000 or whatever, how much ever you've spent to buy this product into the mix of it all. But now you're competing on the same listing with the person that has 9,000 units as well. Now, hypothetically speaking, if that person decides, you know what, I'm out of this business. I'm gonna sell these 9,000 units for $1 a piece or whatever it is, like, or I'll break even or whatever the case is.
Right.
If you're stuck trying to make your 30 points when you can't because he has to sell out of his 9,000 units first, then you can sell your 1,000 units. So it's a waiting game. To combat that, you have to have multiple distribution channels. You have to be able to list the same product on eBay, Walmart, Etsy, and other marketplaces as well. So to answer your question, long story short, I prefer the wholesale method versus um, recreating the brand itself. It's a long term solution versus a scalable business, which is wholesale reselling.
So when you're managing your business, is there a pattern that people should follow? Like, oh, well, on Saturday I'm going to ship everything, or is it like shipping has to be done every day? What's the process like? What's the process like?
In this day and age, you have to ship the products right away. People are so used to the next day shipping and everything along those lines. So we have for us, it's we come in 8 o'clock and 8 to 12. We're shipping everything out from the day before, and everything gets shipped out, and then UPS picks up around 5 o'clock. USPS picks up around 2 o'clock, and then the products are on their merry way from there. Um, People do ship late. But ultimately, what ends up happening is you end up getting a lot of returns because people aren't getting their products in time, especially in Q4. People want their products right away, right? So we got to make sure that the products get shipped out right away.
Right.
So right away.
Is there a tax liability, or like, hey, this is the you have to make sure that you know how people don't realize it till the end of the year that they actually have to pay taxes on it. This happened with Cash App. I know for a fact that a lot of people got suckered into it because they were selling everything on Cash App, and
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the year, Cash App sent everybody's information to IRS, and IRS sent a big tax bill to everybody, right? So
Yeah. A tax liability, as far as that goes, Amazon, eBay, they collect the taxes on my behalf. That's what I've appointed them to do. They collect it and they hold on to it. So
okay,
at the end of the year, or they sort of get paid out from there
yeah, every quarter.
every quarter.
Okay. So is are there issues like how do you handle returns, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you have that much returns, but returns, everybody says that return is what makes a business and breaks the business for e-commerce.
Returns is a part of the business. You have to take it into account. You have to know that it's going to be a big part of your business. Um, Essentially, you calculate about 4 to 5%. Let's say you sell 100 units, just know that 4 to 5 of those is going to come back as a return. You're going to take loss on it. You can't stress about it. You can fight it once in a while if it's we get customers returning stuff for no reason whatsoever. It's such a frustrating process. And they have like the dumbest reasons altogether. But it's part of the business. You have to take it. You have to be able to just to get a good review. You have to be able to be like, all right, cool, here you go. We'll give you you can keep the product even. Don't you don't even have to send it back, you know.
Right.
We had this Daisy lady the other day. I saw her name on there, so I know she's Daisy. She bought this pot from us. It was like $125 pot. And what she did was she got it and then she repackaged her old one with all the masala in the world, all the ghee in that pot, and she sent it back to us. We look at we look at that. I was like, what are we gonna do about it? What can you do? You want to fight it, but that's just honestly part of the business. You're gonna get scammed. You're gonna get returns. So just suck it up and eat it.
So do you add it to your cost? Like, do you say, okay, I know that there's going to be a 30% return. Do you add it to the cost?
30%, sorry. I mean, I know you're saying that as an example, but no, we never look at 30% as a potential return. We look at 4 to 5%.
Okay.
That's that we give ourselves. Anything after that, then either something is wrong with the product, something is wrong with the way we're shipping it, something is wrong with how heavy it might be, and we may not be pricing the shipping things correctly. But once we hit that 5% mark, then we have to really look back and say, okay, is there anything we can do to fix this? But alhamdulillah, it's almost never more than 4 to 5%.
Okay. Do you help people set up their stores? Like, let's take, let's say I want to start e-commerce. I have too much time in my hand right now, so I want to start e-commerce
Sure.
uh store, right? Would you be able to help them?
Mm, no.
No?
I've never done it. To be honest, I've never done it. If the only reason why I would do it if they were a part of the Illinois Muslim Chamber of Commerce, because that's just the added benefit, and I want to be able to help fellow community members. That's the only way I would do it.
All right,
Uh,
but make sure to send me a message so I verify that they're paid members.
okay, sounds good. And I mean that's not a joke, but I mean to be honest, that's the reality of it,
Right.
because we have to promote our own community. We have to make sure that our people are thriving and they have the best knowledge possible without spending thousands and thousands of dollars, right? It is time consuming. It is something that people have a lot of questions about, and there's a lot of fear out there just because of the unknown. Um, so I can be a mentor in regards to it as much as possible, but ultimately it depends on it depends on them. It depends on what type of schedule they have, what type of resources they have. Really, I hate to say this, but really, what kind of investment are they coming in and putting into that business? Because there's this conception that people think that, oh, I'll put $1,000 into this and I'm going to be a millionaire and my troubles are gone. No, that's not how it works. There's a lot of ins and outs of being able that goes into selling that you have to be able to be ready for. So I can be a guy. I can be a guide to the paid members of the Illinois Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you. So are there transactional costs on each product, right? So let's say if I sell an apple, right, is there a per transaction cost that one should consider?
Yes. So let's take my still backwards, or can you see me?
I can see.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's take the headphones for example, right?
Right.
These headphones, your transactional cost to start off. Say you want to go ahead and get into this. You have a supplier that's going to sell you these for $100 a unit, and you're going to be able to. You have let's say 50 of them available to you. That's $5,000 of a investment initially, right? Then you have to look at let's say they're in New Jersey and it's a pallet. It's going to cost you $300 for that pallet to come here. Now your cost goes up to 5,300.
Right.
Then you have to store the inventory. Then you have to prep the inventory. Then you have to ship it back out to Amazon, etc. Right. So your $5,000, let's call it another $700 for transactional costs. Now your overall landed cost for this product becomes $6,000 divided by 50. Now now it's $120 per unit that you're starting with.
Right.
Those are transactional costs. Now let's say, for example, there's a return on it. That's something that gets added on to your overall bottom line. But you're selling these, let's say these are $299, and so you're selling these at a decent markup. So you can afford to do the 4 or 5% return and things like that, and it's worth it to be able to put the transactional cost on something that's going to sell for you really fast. The good thing about transactional cost is most of it comes after you make the sale.
Okay. So does Amazon, obviously Amazon and eBay all charge fees. So based on the fees, which one is a better platform?
Because Amazon has a lot more velocity, a lot more volume. I rather pay the Amazon fees than the eBay fees.
Okay.
On per se, yeah.
On average, how much are they?
So Amazon right off the bat charges you 15% for referral fee, right? Then you have pick and pack fee. Then you have storage cost, and you have sorry, let me just quickly bring that up so I'm giving you accurate information. Um, there's a for Amazon specifically, there's a thing called Amazon FBA calculator. It's a domain that starts with sellercentral.amazon.com, and then it's a calculator basically. So let's say, for example, you have a product that you want to sell. Um, excuse me, give me 1 second, really quick. Let me just bring up a product so that way I can give you the best information.
How much are we talking? 5, 10%?
No, more.
More. Okay, 20%.
20 to 25%. Referral fee, then there's fixed closing cost, variable closing cost, there's a inventory storage cost, there is a fulfillment cost, which is probably the biggest one. So let's say, for example, a product that you're selling for $10, you're gonna make half of it.
Okay.
After, so, for example, okay, so now I have to turn this around. Am I turned around?
You are turning around, but
Okay.
the screen is very small, so.
Oh, okay. So,
All
for
right.
example, Colgate Max toothbrush. It's a pack of
Right.
3. Okay,
Right.
it sells for $9.95.
Right.
If you sell this product for $9.95, based on this calculator, you're going to make $5.15. I don't know if you can see that.
Okay, so rest of it goes to Amazon and whoever.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So your buying cost for these 3 units has to be less than $5.15
Okay.
in order to make any sort of a profit. So
Okay.
let's each one you're able to get for 90 cents. Okay,
Right.
90 cents times 3, that means your buying cost is $2.70, and if you're making $5.15, you're going to net $2.45. Give or take, that's your return on investment
Okay.
out the inbound fee, without any of those. So call it $2. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's still pretty good because this thing sells 1,000 units a month. One thing to take into account is, again, I don't know if you can see, there's 16 people selling the same exact product for
Okay.
$9.95. So let's say, for example, this is what you call a buy box. So when a customer goes to add to cart,
Right.
that means that this person, this business, which is called Kronos Distribution, they get the sale. Most people, as consumers, you, me, and everyone, like average Joes, we don't necessarily look at that. We just look at the fact that this is a prime product,
Right.
right? So, anyway, long story short, Amazon charges this hefty fee for fulfillment for being fulfillment on your own. I'm sorry,
Okay.
fulfillment by Amazon, they charge a hefty fee. Now, if you were to do this from your garage, from your basement, you still
Right.
sell for $9.95. Here, you're not worried about the referral fee or storage fee. Now you're
Right.
making $9.06. Okay,
Okay.
906. Let's say it costs you $4 to ship this out. You're about the same. You're gonna make $5 on it, and then you got to take your buying costs out of it.
Right. So we were talking about this yesterday. What are the misconception or challenges that people don't realize before they start with this e-commerce business? So I think one of the misconception is that e-commerce, they just think it's an online store, but it's a lot more, right?
Yes, it's a whole business. Like I'll give you my example. For my business, it's me and my wife, and but my wife joined about 4 years ago when COVID had hit, and so anyway, long story short, it's me and my wife. Um, and so as far as, let's say, if I was to consider just Amazon and that to be the business, I'm the buyer, I'm the seller, I'm the marketing person. I do my own accounting. I do literally everything and everything. When a shipment comes in, I go pull the orders. That's what we were doing earlier. When we have to pack stuff up, it's me, and we have some help here and there, but not all the time. So yeah, it's a full-time job. I mean, it's worth it. It's a great business to be a part of if you can do it right. But at the same time, it's not that you're going to sit at home and the money's just going to come. If you utilize FBA, it's great because it can be great because let's say if you have 40, 50 different products sitting in Amazon, and each one you have 500 units into their facility. You're getting sales on a daily basis that you're not having to do anything for. You've already done the work. You've bought the product, prepped it, you've shipped it to their warehouse. You've done that work, which is not easy, right? But when it comes to selling aspect of it, and you start to see those sales come in, and you're not doing anything, that's when it makes it worthwhile.
Okay, the dream job to make money without doing anything, right?
Well, yeah,
Uh,
but you have to do.
Hey, you knowing all that you think would you recommend this that our people actually do this, like get into this business?
I'm very me personally, I'm a very risk averse person where I will always advise on the side of caution.
Right.
So my recommendation would be, um, yes, anybody can do this. Anybody can do this, but not everyone should.
Okay.
Right? Because it may not be your cup of tea. It may not be something that you want to get into because you're shy talking to people. You don't want to do business development. You don't want to go to trade shows. You don't want to do conferences and things along those lines. Like there's a lot of things that go into it that people don't necessarily realize, and they have to be able to do all of these things to make it work. I recommend it for anybody that does not have that's looking for a change, but they have to have time on their hand to do the research to be able to do all the other work. They have to have money. You cannot do this business without money, right? Yes, you can grow your business over time, but it takes money to make money. There's no such thing as, hey, I'm gonna put $5,000 into this, and I'm gonna chill for the next X amount of years. No, it's a consistent thing that you have to do. You're always on the hunt for products, new vendors, new suppliers, new brands, things like that. You always have to be doing something. There's always something for you to do to grow the business.
The everybody talks about this drop shipping thing, right? You don't have to invest something, you sign up with this drop shipping, and then you sell online. How does that work?
Drop shipping. Drop shipping, it's a
Or
business.
does it work in the first place?
It works. It works in the right sense. If you're a product owner, yes, it can work. When I say if you're a product owner, is that you have enough inventory to fulfill, to drop ship. FBM business model is technically drop ship
Right.
as you're drop shipping directly to the customer. But the big concept of drop shipping in the YouTube world and everything along those lines, the popular idea of drop shipping is you don't own inventory, you have the supplier ship directly to the customer, things like that. Now let's take that for example. Let's say this is $40 coffee mug, for example. Your drop ship cost from your supplier is $34.99. Okay, that means that you're gonna make $5 on it. Let's not even talk about any of the Amazon fees. Let's look at the numbers. Let's say you're gonna make $5 on it. You sell 10 of these, you made $50. Okay,
Right.
you get 2 returns. You're first off, you're out the 2 returns, the 30 whatever the price is. So plus whatever you've potentially made on top of it. So the risk of that is way too much. It doesn't really work because then you're relying on someone else to do the job for you. Let's say if they don't ship on time, let's say they miss a window of where the customer needs it for a birthday gift or whatever the case is, because they had too many orders and dropship orders or whatever the case is. It doesn't necessarily work because as soon as you start clocking in these returns, which we have to work very hard to kind of avoid altogether, your business does not survive. Plus, to find proper drop shipping vendors that know what they're doing is very, very hard. And I think brother Bobber asked in regards to shutting you down. Amazon shuts you down if they find out that you're drop shipping. If they
Right.
find that this is not a product that you own, they will shut you down.
Okay. Uh, so what one of the questions that I always get, and it's very interesting, is how much money do I have to put in to start this, right? And it's a difficult question to answer, but if you were just to put out a general figure, uh, for somebody who's starting, what will be the dollar number?
I think no one should just dive into this with everything that they have right off the bat. You have to get your feet wet. So what I recommend, and this is what I put into the PDF as well, take $1,000 and think of it as if it's stutka, right? This is done, it's gone. Okay. Take $1,000, buy some pallets, figure out what it is to sell first. Figure out how to list the product. Figure out who your competition is, who else is selling the same product that you have. And let's see if you can make 30 points off of it. Let's say for example, your goal should be, I'm gonna put in $1,000. At the end of it all, I want $1,300 in my bank account, right? Give yourself 2-3 months to do it. If you can do that, right, successfully do that without like going crazy, that then you know that you could do this on a regular basis. Once you figure out 2 + 2 = 4, it's very easy to do 4 + 4 = 8, right? Like you're able to build your momentum off of this.
So I'm going to go into Q&A now because we have like 7 minutes left.
Oh,
The time passes quickly, right?
that's-
Uh, the Okay, so the question is, they have a question about FBM Amazon. Who eats up the shipping fees? Where do we buy cheap labels? Two questions.
where do we buy cheap labels? Cheap labels, there's a lot of resources such as companies like Uline. You can buy, they do a lot of janitorial office supplies, and they're a wholesaler. Uline is a great tool we've been using since day one. You place an order with them, they'll drop off the products to you the next day. You can also, if you're buying significantly large quantities of labels, then I would just recommend going to China and things like that. But if you have the time to do that, but really Uline works great.
All right. And who pays the shipping fees in FBM? We do, right?
We do, yes. You, the seller, are going to pay that. You can charge a customer X amount of fees and things like that, and sometimes they'll pay. But ideally, people are so used to free shipping that you want to be able to promote that.
So,
To that.
To answer Sister Zara's question, yes, we are recording. The next question is, where do you go to look to buy pallets?
Where do you go to look to buy pallets? Proper wholesalers, credible wholesalers and things like that. There's a lot of what you call is middlemen. There's a lot of brokers into the game that are basically they're stepping on the products and then they're buying it from there. One thing I'll tell you right off the bat, as far as a question such as this, I don't think anybody's going to ever go. If nobody's going to give a direct answer in regards to that. Let's say, for example, not this is not my business, so I don't know much about where to go buy proper pallets and stuff like that. But if you ask someone who does that, they're not going to step on their own toes by giving somebody else the answer, right? And that's what I was told from day one, and that's what it's a respecting, it's a trade secret thing, you know, like people aren't going to go and be like, hey, this is my source, by the way, I buy this from ABC company, you should go buy it too. Oh, okay, well, you have $1 million. Oh, now I can't buy it, right? So it's one of those things, and that's the reality of it. It sounds shisty, it sounds like gatekeeping, but really that's business.
Is the cost of doing business. So, is there a directory to start with?
Yeah, you can go to wholesalecentral.com,
Okay.
and they have a lot of vendors listed on there.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go from the top.
Sayyid Ali has a question. I'm quite ignorant about marketing practice as a physician for 40 years. Sir, you can just contact me and I'll help you in any way possible. And I hope I will be able to help you. I hear you want to market your book, so just let me know and I'll make it happen. That's what I do. Um, which social media platforms have the best for newbies?
Which social media platforms are best? I would say TikTok.
Yep. So
Huh?
for e-commerce, TikTok is right now hot. Instagram is also good. I have a client who's doing somewhere around 2.3 to 2.4 millions a month. She is basically an Instagram celebrity. That's all she sells on. So she's doing pretty good. So those are work. But if you want to do like depends on what volume. If you want to go low volume, then Facebook Boost actually is the cheapest marketing that you get the return on, best returns on. So there's multiple things. How will I market a clothing brand?
How will you market a clothing brand? I would say the best way is proper images, a decent amount of marketing budget, because so competitive. Like everyone wants to have a marketing brand or like a clothing brand, right?
Right.
Models, influencers, and things like that. You got to pay a lot of product. I've never done clothing, so I don't know. But yeah,
figure out where Oprah is and become her best friend. I'm joking about it, but influencer marketing is pretty much the biggest thing that actually affects in clothing brands. I've seen like the products are not that great. It's just the name. And some Kinder Jenner, I think that's the name of girl. I don't know what the hell their names are. Wore it and now it's like the thing, right? Or even in a Muslim culture, our local influencers are also very good. Like when they wear things, they do sell. So that might be a best way to start. Any workshop for young entrepreneurs? We are working on it. I guess we'll let you know. It's actually in queue. It's okay. Who's the heavy about permission? Okay, let's start from the top. Okay, do we need approval from Amazon to sell branded products?
Yes and no. Certain brands are okay with you selling the products and you get automatically approved. But certain brands, they do require you to submit a letter of authorization, a invoice, and things along those lines. I will say that it's getting a little bit tougher on it every day. It's getting a little bit tougher, because the brands want to protect their products. So if you want to sell a specific brand, you have to fight with Amazon and say, "Hey, I have a proper invoice. I bought it from an authorized distributor. This is the invoice." Now it's at Amazon's discretion whether they allow you to sell it or not.
Okay. How to get permission to sell certain products on Amazon? How can you get that when purchasing product, right? Like
when purchasing product, you have to first figure out whether you can sell that specific product or not before making the decision. It's part of your research and everything along those lines. You have to go onto Amazon's platform. You have to have a seller's account, and you have to see if you are approved to sell this specific product. Now, it's getting to a point where Amazon may or may not allow you. They may allow you today, but in a week, 2 weeks, they might ask you to submit different things. So if you can see my screen very little, I put that in. Colgate. It's not even available for you to be able to list it. There is no reason. There's no communication that needs to happen in regards to this because it's simply not available. So let me see if I can find another product that I can give you an example of. But Colgate, for example, in this case, you cannot sell. But you have to do your due diligence before you actually make the purchase to make sure that you are able to sell it 100%.
Okay. So Ahmed has a couple of questions. He needs help with some mentorship. Uh, he wants to sell food goods. So depending on, I have a little bit of experience with that. Depending on what type of food, I have a client who sells this hot sauces, right? And there's this whole process that they have to go through and get approved and all that. And it's a process. So depending on what type of food group, you might have to go through some requirements. That being said, as for logo, e-commerce website, marketing channel, get hold of me and I'll help you with that. That's kind of my domain. This is what I do. And if you're selling dates, then obviously packaging and all that adds up. So that's a offline conversation that you and I can have, Ahmed, and I'll help you as much as I can. All right. It looks like there are no more questions. I want to end this meeting, say thank you to everybody. And um, oh, thank you to everybody. Thank you to Harris. Thank you for doing this, Harris. Somebody's asking for my contact number. You can, I'll just put it in the chat. My number is, just call me in like 15 minutes, not right away. And I do thank you everybody for being here. I hope this was of value. And we look forward to our next webinar, which is about saving taxes on your year-end taxes. We have some really good panelists over there. It's going to be fun. I will be emailing everybody the PDF, so that way everybody has it handy and you don't lose the link. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Take care, guys.